Mancini spends 10 hours a day in his greenhouse. In a few months, his peppers will be ready for harvest. But growing vegetables in the tiny island of Malta is no easy task.
This year we're making an experiment. We're trying to grow them on cocoa fiber. We put the drip irrigation from inside. With this method we hope to reduce the amount of water.
For Marjan, every drop of water counts. And like most farmers in Malta, in order to irrigate his crops, he has drilled his own well to access groundwater.
Down here you can see the water table. This one is 70 feet deep. Borehole water for us is our life.
But relying on boreholes is not an option. Marjan also collects rainwater and even owns a machine that purifies saline groundwater. He says it's only a matter of time before the taps run dry.
Are you worried about the future?
New technology can help us a lot, but it's very difficult. We can't even sometimes live with the money we're earning. So to invest is very difficult. If they don't help farmers, I think farming in Malta will soon stop.
Malta is surrounded by water, and yet it is one of the driest countries in the world. It has no permanent rivers or lakes and gets an average of 60 rainy days a year. Its only source of fresh water can be found below the Earth's surface, in the aquifer. The country now pumps out more than half of its groundwater reserves. And demand is on the rise because of tourism, the agriculture sector, and a growing population. In Malta, water scarcity is not just a reality, it's a real threat.
Although it is a precious resource, rules on groundwater extraction are loosely enforced. 8,500 boreholes are licensed, but many more pump water illegally, without any limit and free of charge. As a result, supplies are shrinking at an alarming rate. We are now 100 meters below the ground to inspect the damage.
So this is where groundwater comes from?
Yeah, at this level we are collecting groundwater, and from here we are pumping it up to the reservoirs for human consumption.
So are water levels going down?
Yes, water levels have been recorded over the past 50 years to keep going down. Water quality and quantity go hand in hand, so when the water quantity decreases, the water quality deteriorates and it also goes down.
The water looks so clear to me. Can I drink this?
You can drink it, but it's more saline than you would wish for because we have an issue with salinity of groundwater. And for this reason, we are mixing groundwater that we are abstracting with better quality water.
So to quench its thirst, Malta has adopted a grand strategy: seawater desalination. 3 facilities are now in operation. The country's largest plant produces 30,000 cubic meters of water each day, 30% of the island's daily consumption. And the idea is simple. Seawater flows through a thin membrane that will separate salt particles from pure water molecules, a highly energy-intensive process. But that isn't stopping the country from increasingly depending on it.
Desalination accounts for 60% of Malta's drinking water. Now you want to do more.
We are now embarking on a very ambitious project, a €130 million EU-funded project. We're upgrading our engines, upgrading our pumps, so we can produce more water with less energy. Compared to 5-6 years ago, we almost halved the per cubic meter consumption. So I can produce double the water with the same amount of energy.
One hydrologist is convinced the country can do things differently. He takes us to one of Malta's biggest hotels, where he has installed his most ambitious experiment, a machine that purifies wastewater. The objective is to maximize all sources of water, including raw sewage.
This is the water produced from the sewage treatment plant. So what you end up with in the toilets is clear, second-class water, which is only used for the flushing of toilets.
But Marco has bigger plans. He has developed a second machine, that turns recycled sewage into potable drinking water. The authorities, however, have denied him a permit.
This installation itself has undergone 1,000 hours of continuous operation as testing. So the science is there, it works. The quality meets the required standard as any water being produced by the water company or by the reverse osmosis plants or whatever. The quality is there, but the problem is perception.
For most people in Malta, the prospect of drinking recycled wastewater is hard to swallow, but the government is slowly paving the way. It has now begun to distribute the so-called new water to farmers, providing much-needed relief to those who need it the most.